right. Bob, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I couldn't be doing any better tonight, Scott. Thanks for
Hey.
asking. How about yourself?
It is Monday, April the 28th, and there is a lot going on in the sports world right now, my
Just,
friend.
just to say the least, just a little bit going on.
Oh, my
Breaking news,
goodness.
breaking events. Last couple of days. Holy cow!
Oh, there's just so much going on, and I am so excited for tonight's show. We're calling this the All-Star edition of the Coach Scott Fields Show. The reason we're calling it that, we have two former NBA All-Stars on the show with us tonight. Two-time NBA All-Star, 24th overall pick, my friend Coach Terry Porter is going to be on the show tonight. So here in the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to get Terry on the phone, and he's going to share his journey with us. Also tonight, we're going to have five-time NBA All-Star Sidney Moncrief will join us tonight on the Coach Scott Fields Show. And Bob, how lucky are we to have
what a
such
great
classy people
Yeah, what a
come
great
be a
lineup,
part of
yeah.
what we're doing?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what's gonna come about with this show tonight.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Well, just a little bit about what we got going on here. How about this new set? I am so excited. You were in here for so many hours over the weekend, sweat and tears, putting this together. I'm always taken, and I'm just in shock because it is first class. It looks great. We would love to hear what you think about our new set. You got the Salt Lake City skyline over here to my right out the window. We've got a great looking backdrop, our executive desk. Oh my goodness, this is first class. I just hope I can keep up with the surroundings.
Well, we're just trying to keep up with you,
No, not true.
Mr. Energy.
No, I'll tell you what. I want to let the viewers know how lucky, blessed, and fortunate I am to be working with my producer, Bob Fitzgerald, who is the owner of Bravehaven.com, who is producing this wonderful show that we're bringing live to you right here, right now at CoachScottFields.com. Bob, as you can tell, has put in countless hours. And from my heart, I can't thank you enough for the hours that you put in to make this set look so good, because it is truly, truly fun to come in here and see the hours that you've put in and just how good this set looks. And I am lucky to be able to work with you so we can bring this show to our viewers that is growing. So from my heart, Bob, thank you so much for your selfless acts of sacrifice, and I encourage anybody to get a hold of Bob at Bravehaven.com. His telephone number is 801-738-8697. If you're looking for any kind of producing or production needs, video montages, event photography, please give Bob Fitzgerald a phone call. He will set you up and do you right. If he can make an ugly guy like me look this good, I can only imagine what he will do for your weddings, your graduations, any type of special milestone event that's coming up in your life. Get a hold of Bob and let them put together something that will just be a keepsake for you forever. So Bob, thank you so much for all your hard work and selfless acts that you've got, going here with this wonderful show.
Well, not a problem. Thanks for your kind words. You're too kind.
No,
Too kind.
you know what? It's like walking onto a car lot and seeing a Mercedes. It just kind of sells itself. And this is the Mercedes of sets. So we can't wait to hear from you to see what you guys think about our new set. Eager to hear your comments, either be via Twitter or it could be Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Love to hear your input, but I'm excited to be here on this show. Matter of fact, two of our guests have just walked in down here. We're going to get them on after we have Terry Porter. So you guys come on in and have a seat. We're welcome to have Clint and Cooper here with us tonight. Sit right there on the stools, fellas. We'll get you guys in here in a little bit. Looks like you got a little sling going on over there, Coop. We got to talk about that here in a minute, buddy. You walking around being all sexy, you getting hurt, huh? Well, anyway, talking about the growth of the show, we've now had over 12,000 views worldwide. Countries that have come on, we've had global viewership. We've now Ireland, New Zealand, and Costa Rica actually just came on and started viewing the show. So we want to give a little shout out to those countries and thank them for being a part of us. As not only do we have a great local support, we've got a great national support and now international support. Poll question for tonight. Viewers, sound off. Our finger is on the pulse right here out of Bravehaven Studios here in Salt Lake City. Should Donald Sterling be removed as owner of the LA Clippers? Got a little buzz going on over here in my ear right before the show started saying that there may be a press conference tomorrow about 2 o'clock with some news going on about that one, Bob. So I'm awful eager to hear what is actually transpiring. I think there's some conspiracy stuff going on. I think there's some other strings being pulled as far as management and things that are going to happen as well. So just say you may have heard it first right here on the Coach Scott Field Show. So we've been pretty good at that stuff because we said a couple weeks ago we knew that Steve Kerr was going to be working with Phil Jackson. They've already had their interview at New York. So again, you heard that here first right here on this show.
Yep.
So interesting how things kind of come together. Hey, let's also give a shout out and thank our sponsors. We've got John Madsen was on our show last week, Bob, and did a great job telling his story, sharing his journey, and he's got a great strength and conditioning program out there. TeamJMP.com. Give John Madsen a call. He's at 801-633-4719. Also want to thank Salon Dante, my beautiful wife, who, if you need a haircut, need to be looking right, how ironic that I don't have any hair for her to cut, but she will have you looking good, whether it be with cuts, colors, hair extensions, the Brazilian blowout. You can get a hold of her at Salon Dante, 801-571-8812. That's Kim Fields at Salon Dante. It's about 94 South and 7th East. Go up and see her on the second floor and tell her the Coach Scott Fields Show sent you. Also, Nick Fitzgerald with MetLife. So all your financial planning needs, give Nick a call at 801-999-3773. And again, Bravehaven Media and Bravehaven Studios bringing this show to you live tonight. Hey, Twitter followers, Scott_Fields. I had a little thing that came to me earlier saying that we now had 10.8 thousand followers here at Scott_Fields. So appreciate your support and all the following there. Tell us what you think. Donald Sterling, should he be removed as owner of the LA Clippers? Would love to hear your input. Had a lot of people sending me messages over the weekend, Bob, sharing, some their insights and inputs and opinion. And it's a heated topic because let's just be honest. An NBA owner, it's a shame that someone's going to have that type of mentality.
Oh, absolutely.
Talking about racism and, not only can it not be acceptable in the NBA, such a high quality brand, but even as a person in society, to me, racism and that type of ignorance is just a learned behavior, and it's sad that he won't hold himself accountable and stop that type of thought process because it's not needed, and I hope that they definitely put a stop to it.
Yeah, and I echo that. And the other thing that upsets me, Scott, is two wrongs don't make a right.
You better believe
and
it.
This guy is way out there making a wrong. But some of the comments that I've heard today, I heard a short audio clip from Spike Lee.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm
glad you said that.
It's just horrible that hate begets hate, and it's not right what this guy did. But
right.
On the other hand, some of the things that have been said are just
right.
as bad and horrific.
Why add fuel to the fire? You can have a comment and you can have an opinion, but I got to call it out. Snoop Dogg did the same thing on his Instagram, dropping F-bombs and, you can be passionate about your convictions and your beliefs, but like you say, two wrongs don't make it right. Why can't we as people grow and mature from a situation like this? Say, okay, if I don't agree with it, but I can not agree with it and be classy and get your point across without all the negativity and bringing more junk to the table. It's a shame.
I think the way to do that is not necessarily by hateful words, but by actions that are going to impact this guy's life.
That's right.
Such as don't support him financially in any way, shape, or form. The NBA
sponsorships can start pulling out.
and they
take away TV broadcasts. hopefully, there's going to be enough financial pressure put on him that he's just going to have to bow out. And then maybe he will learn a lesson from this, and hopefully it will change his mentality and the way he may treat people or look at people. It's a shame.
Yeah.
But here's the point that I don't get. The guy's married, and he's having the conversation with his girlfriend.
Oh, I know.
Okay, that right there, no one even talks about that. He's a married man. Where is the loyalty? Where is the integrity? Everybody's just so caught up on the racism part, which is a huge piece of it because it doesn't belong. He's a married man. Be loyal to your wife. Stand true to that commitment. Be the best husband that you can be. Be the best man that you can be. And it's just like one thing compiles the next. He's a married man, Bob. How come people aren't talking about that?
I don't know,
Well,
Coach.
I just did. I had to put it out there.
Well, I'm glad you brought
Donald,
that.
you're married, man. Get your game right. Treat your wife right. Don't be
Well-
having some girlfriend on the side and then you're going to bash her for what her ethnicity is. Okay, I'm off my pedestal now. Welcome back to the Coach Scott Field Show. But I had to get that off my chest. That's been kind of boiling up in me.
Oh, yeah.
I lost my dog yesterday. Super, super sad over that. So you're going to see little in memory of my wonderful little girl Lacey that we lost yesterday. Sad times for the Fields family, but also the NBA community also lost an outstanding member, Dr. Jack Ramsey, the 1977 NBA championship coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. Is in heaven looking over us right now. Not only did the NBA community lose an outstanding gentleman, but so did society. Here we're talking about all the negativity about Donald Sterling and his actions. Jack Ramsey was a class act, great citizen. So yes, the NBA community lost a great ambassador, but so did all of humanity and society with the loss of this man.
Yeah.
So we want to have this show in memory of Dr. Jack Ramsey. I'm sure Terry Porter will come on and kind of share some of those sentiments with us, as he was a part of the same Trailblazer organization for years. So it'll be nice to kind of hear maybe some personal stories and insights with two-time All-Star Coach Terry Porter coming on the show. Gosh, what are we missing? There's just so much going on here on April 28th, Monday night here at Bravehaven Studios with this wonderful set.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, yeah, like I said, there's so much going on. Where do you start to talk, and where do you start to bring things up? And
Yeah.
for our viewers and our listeners and stuff like that, go on to the CoachScottFields.com, and on there we have a guest book. Go on there and put on your comments.
Oh,
go
please.
to the coach's Twitter feeds and Facebook and put up some comments, and we'll mention them here on the air and bring
You
those
bet.
kind of things up. So what's on your mind, and we'd love to hear from you and get your points of view and see what's going on in your world.
That's
and
right.
how things
Please
are
share it
affecting
with
you.
us. I mean, this is such a personable show. We want people to feel comfortable to share their comments, share their views, share their opinions. Keep your finger on the pulse with us and with what's going on. Sidney Moncrief is going to be joining the show later. He called us a half hour before the show started. He's putting together a DVD product right now, and there's some tornadoes going through the area. So things have kind of gotten delayed for him. So, we pray that, everything is going to be safe for them as they're working on their productions and putting their DVD package together, and he'll be able to join our show a little bit later. So thoughts and prayers with them as there's some inclement weather, going on out there with some tornadoes there in the south.
Yeah.
So our thoughts are with those people. But let's get going with the Coach Scott Fields Show. Again, follow us on Twitter, Scott_Fields. Also hit us up on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram at Coach Scott Fields. We do the Skype thing. We do it all. So by gosh, let's get this show going. Let's see if we can't get Coach Terry Porter on the show real quick.
All right.
Excited to hear from him. And then we've got two local standout players that are going to come be on the show with us tonight. Two of Orem High School's all-star standouts. It is the all-star edition tonight. Two-time all-star Terry Porter. All-stars from Orem High School who were state runners-up this year in the 4A championships here in basketball. And then five-time all-star Sidney Moncrief on the Coach Scott Fields Show. So, fellas, you're in great company tonight. Quinn, you got a little haircut going on there, too. I see you. I got hair in because I'm kind of thinning up there. All right, we're trying to get Terry Porter on the phone.
Hello, Terry.
Hey, Terry, this is Bob Fitzgerald, Bravehaven Media. How are you tonight?
Good, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, I've got Coach Scott Fields ready to talk to you on the air, so I'm going to let the coach take it away.
Great.
Coach TP.
Hey, Scott. How you doing, man?
I am well, partner. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. It's great to hear from you. Thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule and being a part of our show. As you know, a member of the NBA community lost his life today, a wonderful NBA ambassador. You know, as we talked about before we got you on the show, Coach, not only did the NBA community lose a great person, but society and humanity overall lost a great man in Dr. Jack Ramsey. And I know you probably know him well from those Portland Trailblazer days.
Well, Scott, yeah, I was blessed to have him coach me my rookie year. So he taught me a lot, and I learned a lot from him about this league and how to conduct myself as a pro. And so he, like you said, he was not only was he a great teacher, a great coach, but he was a great man in regards to just what he tried to do in our society. And the world will truly miss him. And, you know, we all know he's going to a better place. If there is a basketball out there, he's going to be coaching them. I'll tell you that much.
You know what? Tonight, Coach, this show is kind of in memory of Dr. Jack Ramsey. So, you know, we will talk a little bit about him because, again, as you said, just a wonderful spirit, a great character, quality person inside and out who always would bend over backwards to help others. And, you know, Coach, I can't thank you enough for being a part of this show. You know, this show got going about a month ago, and we've had over 12,000 views nationally and internationally. We're trying to empower coaches. We're empowering players. We're bringing quality content and insight. And to have a two-time NBA All-Star like yourself, a J. Walker Kennedy citizenship winner, I mean, come on, your number 30 is hanging in the rafters at the home of the Portland Trailblazers. We are blessed to have you, buddy.
Well, thank you so much. I'm honored that I could be a part of your show, and obviously you help grow the great game of basketball. And you know, so I'm just honored to you guys to have me on, and we can talk about you know, obviously Dr. Jack, but also about this great NBA playoffs we're having right now. It's
wow.
been one of the best for as long as I can remember. When you talk about the competitiveness of it, and it's been unbelievable.
Hasn't it been fun to watch? Now, I know you guys, you know, there with Minnesota had some tough luck, but I mean, let's even talk about, you know, your coach, Coach Rick Adelman. You got to play for him as a player. You've got to coach with him as a coach. You know, we want to wish him, you know, all the best with him, you know, as he moves forward, taking care of his family. What types of things, Coach, were you able to learn from Coach Rick Adelman? Because I mean, you played for him for years out there in Portland, played in the NBA Finals against Michael Jordan. Share some things that Coach Adelman, you know, taught you or helped you learn to be where you're at today.
Well, I think when you look at the overall offensive facet of the NBA game and how it's being played, there's no doubt that he leaves the legacy. When you talk about the Sacramento teams and how he introduced the big elbow action in regards to, you know, them making passes at the elbow. He had two of the best bigs at the time, if not in the history of the game, with Vlade and Webb, and passing the ball and having players recognize great ball movement and being able to work so well without just standing and watching. And so the way he came up with those type of sets and his offensive mindsets will go down as just, I mean, he changed the game. Everybody has some type of his corner offense sprinkled into their textbook offense nowadays, and it's just great to see him be able to have that type of honor.
Yeah, he was truly an innovator because when you talk about great passing big men, if you left Vladi, even though a lot of people give him a hard time for being a flopper and playing that Euro style game, he was very headsy, passed out of the high post extremely well. Chris Webber as well. Even Jason Williams, a point guard, a position that you know all too well. Gosh, they had great years out there, and what he did with them, and every franchise that he was a part of, he had success with.
And I think when you look at somebody's body of work, you can go from obviously his Portland days. Every team he faced, he had different type of personnel,
Right.
and he came up with the offensive system that allowed the kids, the players. Number one, there's some structure, but more importantly, he had some freedom to it. And I think when you look at all the coaches that have been able to achieve 1,000 wins like he has been able to achieve, that's a common denominator. You got to be able to have a mindset and flexibility and be able to put guys in the right spots, and that's going to be his legacy, his ability to recognize talent and come up with a system that best maximize their opportunity to be successful. And like you said, everywhere he's gone, he's had tremendous amount of success. Maybe except for Golden State, I think, but that was a short stop.
Yeah.
But he has been everywhere, and he's had a ton of success, and he's been able to really lead programs in better organizations in better shape than when he first got there.
You know what? That's a great statement, and I know that in this microwave society that we have, in the sports industry, people, the expectations are to have instant results, and a lot of times they want to bypass the process and not build and not have the patience to build. And even you yourself, you've had some great stops yourself and had some success as a coach, even as a head coach. And I know you're going to continue to do great things, developing players, teaching players, important things on and off the court. And it's been a pleasure to sit back and watch you grow in your career as, not only having a 17-year NBA career, drafted 24th overall back in 1985, playing with Portland, Minnesota, Miami, San Antonio. You've been a part of some great franchises, and even as a coach, spending time with the Phoenix Suns, you did a great job, and you were able to put a print on that franchise before you went on to your other ventures. But for the viewers, what's it like to have that moment standing at center court with your family and watching your jersey being retired up to the rafters? What does that feel like, and what types of emotions do you feel? I know it's got to be quite a blessing, but put our viewers in your shoes for that moment as that jersey's rising to the rafters.
Well, you're obviously you're very honored by the situation. You're humbled. I mean, when you play this game, you don't play it for the accolades. You play it because you have a tremendous amount of passion for it and you want to have success at it. And for a franchise to recognize your body of work to the point where they think it deserves retirement, it's just the pinnacle. It really is the pinnacle. And the Blazers, our Blazers teams, our runs that we had some great teams. We obviously fell a little bit short than our ultimate goal, but the fan base and the way they embraced our team and the way they came out every night and really contributed to us and just the way they supported us was unbelievable. And so it was, from that standpoint, you just can't, be thankful enough for the opportunity that the Blazers gave me when no one else knew about a small kid from University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, and they were willing to take that chance. And so I was honored that, I was able to put on that uniform and be very productive for them and help them have some successful years and, help that franchise maintain a certain type of tradition and a certain type of level of excellence.
Well, I think it's very classy how you put that. You're very humble. But what a great thing. And Coach, share that with us, being a player from a small school in Wisconsin, not a lot of accolades and just you coming in. Did you feel like when you came into the league back in '85? Did you feel like was that part of the motivation that you came from a small school and you had a little chip on your shoulder, a quiet confidence that drove you and motivated you to have the work ethic that you have? Because I think that's something that young players miss out on is I don't think they truly understand. They think in their mind playing at the high school level that they're working hard, but each level you have to dominate the level that you're playing at to get to the next level. And where did that motivation come from within you? Was it just your faith, your spirituality? Because I know you're a great Christian person, but can you share that with us a little bit?
Yeah, Scott. I think that the biggest thing is, it's about trying to be the best you can be and putting yourself in situations where you can try to be the best player you can be. And every day you take the court, you try to achieve that. A lot of people don't know, obviously I went to a small school in Stevens Point, but my biggest breakthrough was in 1984 when there was the Olympic trials was going on.
There you go.
And that's when the Olympics was going to be held in Los Angeles. And I just so happened was able to make that original 80-player invitation.
Wow.
And I got all the way down to the last final cuts before I caught the chicken pox. And, obviously you're catching the chicken pox. Bobby Knight, everybody has their opinion of Bobby Knight, but to me, he was just unbelievable in regards to giving me an opportunity to continue my dream of playing on an Olympic team. I caught the chicken pox, and he allowed me to go home for a week and try to regroup as best I could and come back and still be able to compete for one of those spots. Yeah. Came back and I wasn't able to get that one of those spots, but he was just so gracious in giving me an opportunity, and I ended up getting cut with. Your listeners may know these names: Charles Barkley, John Stockton, and a guy by the name of Maurice Martin, who both Maurice Martin unfortunately got drafted in the draft. I think it was '84 by Denver, but unfortunately he had 2 knee injuries and his career was shortened. But
yeah, that
was really my breakout opportunity, because that happened during my junior year. So I came back to school my senior year, and at that point, a lot of scouts never knew what Stevens Point was, but they had to get out their maps and start searching, because they had to come check me out in person. But I think when you think about those type of situations, I try to tell kids all the time when I speak to them, don't try to go to the biggest and the brightest. Go somewhere where you can develop your skills, where you can play in games and you can get game experience and you can get better in your craft. And I know everybody likes to go to Kentucky, and nothing wrong with Kentucky or one of the big schools.
Right.
But you want to go somewhere where you're going to be able to play every night. You're going to be able to learn how to play this game if you have aspirations to play at professional level. And that's in the NBA, that's overseas. There's always a lot of opportunities, not just at the NBA level, to play professionally. And you have to understand, in order to grow your game, you got to be in the game. You got to be in the game. You got to be playing the moment. And you got to be in those situations where you can know how to handle them.
You know what? I can't agree with you more, and I appreciate you saying that, because I myself, you met my son at the NBA Summer League last year, and I keep telling him, don't be discouraged by the journey. Grow, develop, empower yourself, teach yourself the skill sets to be able to go to the next level, and you don't have to play at the biggest schools. I mean, it's not about ego and telling all your buddies that you're going to go play at the biggest schools. I mean, you are a prime example of that, of taking that opportunity and maximizing on it and getting the most out of it. Because let's be honest, Coach, back in 1984, there was no Twitter. There was no Facebook. Coach, the technology that's out there now for the scouts, and if you've got a skill set, and if you're a shooter and a team needs a shooter, they're going to know about you. Back then, we didn't have that technology, and so they had to work a little bit harder to find you, and players had to be that much more motivated to go out and promote themselves and market themselves to get themselves to that next level.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like you said, the internet exposure and the technology is so much more advanced currently than it was back then. You didn't have the opportunity to get on the internet right away, or get a chance to even get Sports Center top 10. I mean, the exposure you get now, you just don't. You didn't have that back then, and you didn't have the outlets, media outlets, the internet outlets, the regular mainstream outlets that normally that has gotten bigger. So you just, the opportunity is there now, and it wasn't there before. You had to, you didn't have as many opportunities to plan different events.
You bet. Well, Coach, let's talk about that, because there's pros and cons to it, and myself and I know you're also big on character and integrity and doing things the right way. Some of these kids, with stuff that they're putting on Twitter and in the social media sites, that could be hurting them as much as what they think it's helping them, because they're sending the wrong message and putting the wrong brand out there because of the things that they are putting on social media to try to promote themselves. Once that's put out there, anybody and everybody can see it. And people who are making these decisions, whether it be a front office or it could be a high school kid trying to get a college scholarship, if they're sitting there hanging out at parties and holding up beer cans, what message is that sending to that, athletic director or head coach at the next level who you're trying to, compete for a scholarship for? Can you speak on that?
Well, I think, we've all been young and we've all done things, but the problem you have nowadays is because of the camera phones. The phones, kids pictures on their phones and things that happen on the internet. You just can't get away from those. And, everybody wants to erase something that they did younger that, they wish they could go back and make a correction on. But the things you have now, you can't do that. And the problem you have now is kids nowadays are coming, into the game a little bit younger, a little bit not as mature as in previous years, because they're not spending as much time in college to maybe work through some of that maturity that they have to get to before they come up to this level, or before they become pros, period. Because once you become a pro, it's your job, it's your career. So everything is so critical in how you conduct yourself. And like you said, a GM or whoever is in charge of making that decision or who gathering that information, they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to do as much stuff as they can and try to figure out what kind of character you have. Because teams, when they invest in you, they want to be able to invest in guys who they know who are high character guys, who are going to do the right things, who they can trust, that's going to, when they take them out into a community or into a setting, and it revolves them interacting with them ticket sellers or customers, they're going to react in the same way. They know that they trust that hopefully you're able to strike up a conversation with somebody and not be in order to continue the conversation and make sure that you're able to conduct yourself in a professional manner. That's the most important thing when you start talking about being a pro, and talk about how you conduct yourself. And kids have to get better at that and continue to strive for greatness.
Right. Well, let me ask you one more quick question before we go to a break, Coach. You've had the opportunity this year to be around Kevin Love, and what an outstanding player he is, and the things that he's added to his game that he didn't have coming out of UCLA. Now playing multiple years, he's suffered through some injuries. Share with the viewers what it's like to be around Kevin Love and his work ethic on a daily basis, and then we'll take a quick break after you answer this question.
Well, Kevin Love is, he's kind of almost like a throwback. When you talk about the model power forward, he's a lot more athletic and a lot quicker and strong. Kevin is just old school and just he's so skilled. He's one of, obviously, the best rebounders in the league. He has one of the best basketball IQs I've been around. And his ability to shoot the ball out to three has really made a game changer for him, because, the stretch forward now has become such a huge part of our game today, where it was back in my era. A four-man had to play inside 15 to close the basket. Now you have guys you can add in 6'9", 6'10", even, I saw Dirk, which shooting it from 22, 23 feet, and so totally has changed the dynamics in regards to how teams are scheming and doing things to try to stop that type of weapon that the teams have. But man, Kevin had an unbelievable year, a career type of year. You wish you have. I mean, his ability to break all the records to his ability to shoot the three ball, rebound, and scoring is unbelievable this year. And so he really had a type of year that everybody wish they had. And he was able to go out and have an unfortunate we weren't able to, the next being playoff. But he did, he was willing to carry the load. And the one thing he did this year, and Coach Adam, you got to come back and you got to be a facilitator more. He came back and had career numbers and assists, and so it was so important that he did that, and he did it, and he made the guys around him better, and he took the initiative he needed at both ends of the court to prove not only himself but the team overall. And it was great to see him take that next step and becoming more of a complete player and continue to work towards that.
You bet. And talk about his strength. I don't know many guys in the league that can get a rebound and turn and throw a 90-foot frozen rope chest pass and hit a guy right in the chest with some of his outlet passes. Unbelievable, his upper body strength.
Well, that old-fashioned outlet pass, that is something that has definitely been lost in today's game. But I can just remember back to old Wes Unseld and those guys talking about those two-hand outlet passes and being able to catch guys in stride who can go out and finish in the open court. And like you said, it's just he has gotten so many guys that opportunity to just right away get out, and it's such a huge advantage for our offense in order to get us to go out and get easy baskets. These teams are so good in how they scout that for your ability to be able to defend before a five-man defensive set is just a huge advantage.
Right. Well, Coach, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have you right back on the show after we pay a few bills with our sponsors right here, my friend.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, buddy. Can you still hear us?
From as long as I could remember, probably starting at 3 years old. I remember my dad signing me up for a baseball league that was for 5- and 6-year-olds. And I remember walking out of there going, Dad, do you think I can do this? I'm young. He's like, you're going to be fine. And he coached me from 3 years old all the way till I was in high school. The coach at Snow College, my plan was to go play basketball still, but the football coaches actually gave me a better opportunity. So again, I loved all sports. It wasn't that I liked one more than the other. I just wanted an opportunity to play, and I wanted to repay my parents with a scholarship with my school for all the time and money they spent putting me through sports all those years. So for me, it wasn't about basketball, baseball, or football. It was that I wanted to repay them for all the stuff that they had given me. Yeah.
All right, Coach, we're back. We had to pay a few bills with the sponsors right there. Got to keep them happy so we can keep bringing our show and using this as a vehicle to empower coaches to be better coaches and supply players with the resources and knowledge that they need so they too can take their game to the next level. We got Coach Terry Porter live on the show with us right now, and he's sharing a lot of nuggets with us, not only as a coach but also a player, but most importantly, the type of character and work ethic and things that you need. So, Coach, you're back on live with us right now, my friend. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you great, Scott.
All right, buddy. Well, let's talk some more. Again, you had some great years as a player with the Portland Trailblazers. You guys were so close to winning a championship, and you had to run up against a guy named Michael Jordan and his Bulls. What was it like to be thrust into that series where, the game time adjustments and the things that you had to do to prepare for each game? As a player in that position, share with us what that hype was like, because Michael brought a whole new fever to the game and made the game global. And, the games were live televised then, and, arenas were being filled. What was that like playing in an NBA Finals?
Well, the NBA Finals, it is the pinnacle from a player standpoint, because all the hard work, the dedication, the sacrifices you put into being in the gym had paid off.
Right.
Not just every player that gets to the NBA Finals. You obviously want to, cap it off with a win. And unfortunately, Fred did not do that. But Michael Jordan, obviously, in those Bulls teams, was great teams. They had arguably three of the best players in their position when you talk about Michael at the 2, Scotty at the 3, and then Rodman at the 4.
Right.
In the league. And we had great games against them, and we just, the biggest thing, we just wasn't able to make plays and close out those games that we had advantages in. And, give them a lot of credit. They made those shots, and they timely shots. Those guys were able to get wins when they needed wins, and we were not able to do that. But they that atmosphere in the Chicago Stadium was one of unbelievable atmosphere. The old Chicago Stadium was just so loud.
Yeah.
And the fan base was it was unbelievable.
Yeah, you bet. I can only imagine, being a player, lacing them up, and getting your mindset ready for a game like that. What types of thing as a player playing at that level? What were you doing as a player? What was your routine to get yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared for those big, NBA games, especially being in an NBA Finals like that? What did you do? What was your routine?
Well, obviously, I broke down to the guards and the bigs and talked a lot about. We talked a lot about them, going to defend them, what their tendencies was, and how we were going to try to make sure they don't get the opportunity to play from those strong tendencies. And from an offensive standpoint, I really just watched a lot how they tried to defend me in certain situations, pick and rolls, down screens, and those are the type of situations I paid a lot of attention to and tried to study. In regards to talking to the assistant coaches and trying to see what those teams were really trying to take away from me, and trying my best to make sure I was trying to have counters and have second attack options for those type of situations when they try to take me from my strong spot.
Yeah. I think it's great because, you're sitting there now talking about details of the game that players and you as coaches now, trying to get people out of their comfort zones. Don't let them do what they do to get into their rhythm, and how to change angles and certain things like that to, disrupt the rhythm of a player and of a team. And, we've talked about how great the NBA playoffs are right now and how many overtime games there have been. But, those small details and those, little tweaks that you do within your game plans to try to gain an advantage off of that team, trying to get a win on the road, those are the details that matter most. When you're watching these games now, even though your team's not playing in it, are you taking notes? Are you watching things? What kind of things are you doing as a coach to disrupt the rhythm of a play?
I think so many series are so close. It comes to the small things. Not letting the guy off his feet, but not letting them catch an opposite position.
Right.
If you're double team, make sure you come to the double team quick enough to let him split the team. It's all the small things that, when you talk about execution, and the team that can do the best job and executing that and not having breakdowns, the team most of the time was going to come out ahead in that
Right.
particular game, because these teams go into these games with everybody team strengths in regards to their sets, in regards to where they want these guys to catch the ball, or how they want to play the game. If it's a kind of a half court, slow it down, more methodical type of team. A team like the Blazers or the Rockets, who
Right.
really want to play in the track meet. It's up and down. It's attack mode. It's driving gaps. It's fighting with the great three-point shooters that both those teams have.
Right.
And trying to make sure that your system, your style of play, and you're able to put that into the game and put your step in that game and make sure your opponent is playing your people to make sure that you have advantage and win the game.
Right. Well, isn't it amazing that, you know, the better teams, it's always predicated off the point guard play. The point guard is controlling tempo, controlling pace, you know, getting the ball to the right people. And it's amazing because the deeper you go into these playoffs, it's interesting to see that how many of the weaknesses are being exposed. And, you know, the great point guard play, you know, even like yourself, I mean, that's where a lot of, you know, games and championships are won, at that point guard level.
Well, obviously, as you go further in the playoffs, you come up against more tougher defensive-minded teams.
Right.
Teams that really are really trying to cramp down, lock up their schemes, and make sure you don't get any type of rhythm, but from a physical standpoint, but also with their ability with individual defenders and having rim protectors and all those things that they think is very important in trying to stop offensive teams. And that's what happens as you get further in the playoffs. And like you said, you know, as you get further in the playoffs, you're going to play tougher teams, and you're going to have to execute at a higher level. What you did in the first round in regards to some of your offensive sets, you now may have to go to your second, your third option.
That's right.
And are you disciplined enough to try to do that? Can you do that to the point consistently in a 7-game series that you're going to have an advantage and win 4 of those games? That's the biggest key. And if you don't able to have that discipline and be able to pull it off, well, that's why the other teams have success.
That's right. You know, and it's amazing, Coach, when you sit there and you watch and you really become a student of the game, and you're learning, and, you know, hopefully these players today, you know, are watching these games closely, because like you said, you know, it's not always your go-to move, it's that counter move. Once they take your go-to move away, do you have that, you know, counter move that you can make to be an asset for your team, so your coach will have confidence to put you in the game, so that, you know, maybe you can carry your team to the win. But, you know, another thing that you see, you know, the superstars are going to play. They're going to, you know, they're going to be consistent. It's the importance of the role players when you're on the road and when you're in an environment that you're not, you know, you're not at home, you're on the road, you're not sleeping in your beds at home. Talk about how important it is for those role players to step their game up, take their game to another level, because expectations are your superstars have got to make those plays, home and away. That's why they're the superstars. But the role players and the sixth man coming in off the bench, you know, the guys accepting their roles and taking their game to the next level also helps, you know, get further and deeper into these playoff rounds at the NBA, because, you know, a 7-game series, you know, it's hard to sweep a team 4-0. You know, you got Miami, who's doing a great job in the first round against a Charlotte team who's done great. But talk about the importance of those role players playing on the road in a hostile environment at this level.
Well, as you go further in, a lot of times, most of the time, the superstars on both teams, those guys are going to cancel each other out.
Right.
So who is going to be the X factor? The X factor a lot of times is that guy who comes off the bench, is that guy that maybe he only averages 9 points, and he's able to go in a couple games where they need some scoring, and he all of a sudden his 9 points, he gets into a rhythm and able to really carry a team through a stretch offensively, where maybe the key players aren't into the game or aren't playing at the type of level they need to play or just not making shots. And it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult for the star players to get back into a rhythm. But the role players, the key players, it's so critical in regards to how they react. When you talk about going on the road, a hostile environment, a lot of times when you talk about teams traveling, the bench and especially they not react well in those type of environments because they don't have experience in it, and they're more comfortable playing in front of their home crowd, where they know they're going to get a lot of confidence and they're able to feed off the energy of the crowd. So the challenging part is always maintain the, so to speak, when you talk about the bench stepping in and playing big roles. That guy was always underrated, but does so many intangible things. And you start looking at these games, it's not always about just scoring, rebounding, blocking shots, taking a critical charge, getting a critical steal. You look at that Portland-Houston series, the young man who they got from the D-League who stepped up and hit the big shot the other night and came in last night hitting big threes. You look at, there's been different teams that have different guys step up and carry them. That's so critical. You got to have that.
You do, it's such a great point, Coach. I mean, to see that kid who, came into the league, he's undrafted, played the entire season with the Rio Grande Valley Vipers. Coach McHale, gives him his opportunity. He comes in, knocks it down. It's amazing to see the confidence, that he's gained, like you said, because last night he comes out there and does a great job, but you could even see it in his body language that he was more confident. And, I mean, he was poised stepping into that situation in the first place because there were some good veterans Coach could have called in, but they brought him in. He hits the shot, and now you're watching him walk on that court. Man, you can see a little pride in his stride. His chest is stuck out, and he's got some confidence going right now. So it's fun to see who that X factor is going to be, as these playoffs get, deeper and deeper, because, a couple years ago, because it's a small market, a lot of people didn't know who Steph Curry was and how talented how he's becoming. Here he is an all-star now, and his game just continues to grow every year.
Well, yeah, when you talk about obviously Steph Curry, his game has been one of just unbelievable growth, and everybody, again, when you talk about someone never giving up, everybody always was too small, too thin, couldn't take the pounding in this league, and he quiet all his naysayers. He continued to work hard at his craft, continue to believe, most importantly, continue to believe in his skill set, and continue to try to improve in those. There at the point now where he's probably going to go down as one of the greatest shooters in that position. I mean, his ability to knock down shots and the rate at which the percentage can knock those down is just unbelievable.
Oh, he's fun to watch. I actually had the pleasure of coaching him out here a couple years ago when the NBA was in the strike, and we did a fundraiser here, and Steph was with our group, and such a great person, quality character. He was on the court early. He was getting his reps in. He was taking care of his body, stayed to meet with all the fans, sign all the autographs, and, it's refreshing to see quality people who put in the work, and, now we're getting to see, the fruits of his labors. And, again, a great spiritual person who I've enjoyed being around, and he's going to continue to have a great career. One more question before we go off to another quick break, Coach. Now that you're coaching, what are some of the tangibles that you're looking for in an athlete when they come into camp? They got the NBA summer leagues. They come in from the NBA summer leagues. They come into camp. They're trying to, earn a spot on the team. What types of things are you looking for as a coach from these players to come in and fill a role spot? Because most of the time, you've already got your scorers. You've got some rebounders. What are you looking for from these kids, when they're coming into camp?
Well, I think, Scott, the biggest thing you look for a young kid, a rookie, you want to see him play hard. You want to see him play hard whenever he steps on that court and give it everything he's got. That is so critical for a young man in today's game.
Yeah.
that he plays extremely hard, and he does all the intangible things. He's gonna, help him. He's gonna be vocal at the defensive end. He's just not gonna be on the weak side, saying I got my guy. He's gonna be on the weak side, communicating all the defensive coverages. Offensively, he's going to be doing everything he needs to do, make that extra pass, set a screen. That's very critical. And then all of it is hard. Is he a perimeter player? Well, if the perimeter player, does he defend on the ball well? Does he do a good job putting the ball attacking? Does he read closeout well?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things from a perimeter player standpoint that you try to see what a young man do in regards to end-game adjustments. And then for perimeter, is he a shot blocker, rim protector? Is he sets good screens? Is he that guy that's going to be there for his teammate when his teammate does get beat on penetration? Is he going to come over and try to, be there for him to make sure that there's a trust factor being built there? And from a standpoint that the coach says, you know what, that kid can always do the right thing. I have confidence that when I look down the bench, I can put him in the game, and I know he's going to try to do the right thing that's good for the team. And, you try to talk to those kids that, hey, when you step on the court, you got to do the right thing. You got to play the right way, and that's playing hard every night, and that's giving it your all and playing to your strengths, and not playing to your weaknesses, and trying to do the best thing you can do to help your team win games.
Well, you know what? I think I don't think better words have been spoken. To hear you talk about all the intangibles and the communication and being positive and accepting your role, going hard, learning how to close out, keeping the angles right. It's refreshing to hear it, and I really hope that our viewers, not only nationally but internationally, are listening and taking notes. Learning from someone like yourself who is at the pinnacle, have played at the highest levels, coaching at the highest levels. We're going to take another break to pay the bills, and we're going to have you right back on, Coach.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, buddy. Coach, gosh, it's so great to have you on the show, and we're back live right now, and to have the opportunity to have our viewers, hear your words, share your insight, sharing your journey. Coach, we're truly blessed, and you're helping us grow this show, and we are truly blessed that we're in a position, and the good Lord has given us this vehicle to try to empower as many people as we can, on and off the court. And I know you're a spiritual person. You're a great guy. You've been a friend for years, and I've always appreciated your mentorship, and we've always sat and talked at the NBA Summer Leagues, and I've enjoyed learning and growing from you. But thanks again for taking the time to be on the show and sharing your insight with our viewers around the globe.
Well, Scott, and thank you enough for letting me and giving me this opportunity. Really, like you say, I love talking about the game and helping grow the game and give insights. It's all about trying to teach people about this great game of basketball and how great it is, and you can learn so much, and just the friends and the people you can meet along the way and the places you can go. I know, kid, growing up in Milwaukee, I never dreamed that I would be able to achieve and meet the people and go to places that I've been able to go because of basketball. And it's been an unbelievable thing for me to be able to be a part of, in my journey, and it continues to go. Obviously, in regards to coaching now, trying to teach some of my own personal experience to these young kids who are coming in our league a lot younger, and trying to teach them how to be pros and try to have them appreciate what this great game can do for them.
Yeah, and you know what, Coach? I think, people who are blessed enough to be able to work with you and be around you, I hope that, they soak it up like a sponge. And sharing that, when you first came into the league, you mentioned, Dr. Ramsey, Coach Ramsey, brought you in and taught you a lot about the game. Who were some of the players that, when you were drafted into the league, that took you under their wing and taught you, the things on and off the court, how to ice the knees, to take care of the body, to prolong your career? What's some of the advice that some of the veterans gave you, and who were those veterans that took you under their wing when you first came into the league?
Well, man, we had somewhat of a veteran team in Portland at the time.
Yeah.
Kenny Carr, who was one of the veterans around that time, really talked a lot to the rookies and talked to them about how being a pro, how to conduct themselves, how to care your body, how to get reps, and really be able to recognize that obviously this is a great game, and there's a lot of different ways you can go about having such a game, but the most important thing is going to be how you conduct yourself, the character, and taking care of your body and getting rest and making sure that you do everything you can for your body to get it prepared to play this game and in the season, because the season's a grind. Kids come in this league and don't realize that 82 games with the travel and the day-to-day practices and things you have to do, not only physically, which is very important, but mentally. I think it's so huge. And so you have to have situations where you have to have a mentor or a veteran who's talking through it and trying to help them get through such situations. You hear about so many teams nowadays that have a bunch of young kids. They talk about getting veterans on that team to teach them how to be a pro, teach them how to play games and how to conduct themselves in a professional manner. It's so critical when you talk about the success of the teams in our league. And so I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to talk about this great game of basketball. Hope everybody continues to go out and watch these games. The games have been so entertaining and so exciting to watch, and just so thankful to be a part of the NBA.
You bet. Well, Coach, I can't thank you enough, for your friendship, for the times that we've spent together. I look forward to continuing to grow, our relationship. I feel blessed and fortunate, to have you in my life. I feel like I'm a better person because I'm able to associate and learn from people like yourself. So, I can't thank you enough for being a part of this show and, helping us grow, like you said, to me, the greatest game on earth. And, just you taking the time to be with us, it means so much to me. And I really look forward to hopefully being able to spend some time with you this summer down at the Summer League again this year, my man.
All right, I look forward to it myself. You take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you in Vegas.
You got it, my man. Listen, God bless to you and yours, and I hope things continue to go well for you and your family, and we look for big things coming from you, my friend. I know you're going to have a great continued career.
All right, sounds great. You take care.
You got it, Terry. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. All right, Scott. Take care.
All right, buddy. Wow, we are so lucky to have a two-time NBA All-Star who has played at the highest levels to come in and share his insights and wisdoms with us, and just a quality person, great character, a man of spirit and faith, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for Terry Porter, and just a quality guy, Bob. Isn't it great to, we're being inundated right now about, the Donald Sterling stories, but to hear from a Terry Porter like that, gosh, how lucky are we?
Yeah, I mean, that's week after week, Scott. I am just amazed by the people that you've lined up and the guests you've lined up. Just the quality of good people that they are.
Well,
there's so much bad press out there.
Yeah.
That it's nice to know that there are good people involved in that industry.
I may be one of the luckiest guys on the face of the earth to have taken this ball from Indiana, just a boy, a ball, and a dream, like Dick Vitale used to say, and have traveled the globe teaching the game and, you know, having a near 800 win percentage and 15 years of head coaching and spending my time at the NBA Summer League and being a part of a couple franchises and meeting people like Terry and Sidney Moncrief, who's going to come on the show later, who he and I did work together with the Golden State Warriors a few years back. And it's just amazing. I've just been so blessed, and I'm so glad that, you know, the world and the nation, you know, get to hear another personable side to some of these guys that, you know, you don't get to hear them share that kind of insights because, you know, they don't have the time on some of the major networks to have these types of interviews. And again, Bravehaven Studios has opened this door and allowed us the vehicle to bring this show to all you viewers right now.
Yep, and like I say, it's a blessing.
Well, hey, listen, we've got two great high school players that we're going to bring onto the show from Orem High School. They were 4A state runners-up this year. We're going to bring them on one at a time. I'm going to start off with Quinn Peters. He's going to come on the show. But our sponsor tonight for the prep section is TeamJMP.com. John Madsen with his strength and conditioning. You can reach John at 801-633-4719. Give John a call and let him know that you heard about him right here on the Coach Scott Fields Show. So let's take a quick break. Give a little shout out to John Madsen, and we'll have Quinn Peters right here on the show for all you Orem fans out there.
No question. And I thought about that myself, you know, can I really do this? But I had worked with a trainer for the past year going into that freshman season, and you know, he made me believe that I could do anything. And so I had him and my parents, who have always told me that I could do anything I wanted, in the back of my mind. And so that was all I knew. I knew that I was athletic enough and talented enough. I just had to go show them what I had. You know, University of Utah was my dream school all along. That's where I wanted to play. Had season tickets growing up. Had an opportunity once again to walk on, in which I was the lowest man on the totem pole. From day one, though, all the hard work that I put into it paid off, and I earned myself a scholarship that first semester. Yeah, Fiesta Bowl championship, dream come true. You know.
Hey, you are back with the Coach Scott Fields Show right here out of Bravehaven Studios, and we're lucky to have one of the 4A runner-up, Orem High School. You guys were so close this year to winning that state championship. Now, let's talk a little bit, and let's introduce the world to Quinn Peters. You won a state championship with Lone Peak. A couple years ago, you transferred into Orem. You got to play with Coach Golden Holt out there at Orem High School. You won a state championship with Orem and came a free throw away this year from winning another championship. Talk a little bit about the success you've had as a high school player. We got to work together in AAU. I enjoyed working with you, coaching you. Hopefully I taught you a little bit of something. Talk about your high school career and what it's done for you and what it's meant to you.
No, just starting out at Lone Peak, Coach Lewis there, he has a great program there, and he, just beginning my freshman year, he helped me a lot with my work ethic. Coming in there, I was just a junior high kid thinking I could just throw up threes a lot. That kind of all turned around, and I turned into more of a slasher, but yeah, he helped me out a lot. And then once I transferred, he actually had close ties with Golden, so he was, you know, I was in good hands heading over to Orem, and
there
Golden
you go.
has just done so much for me off and on the court.
Yeah.
I'm forever thankful for
Great
him
guy,
and
isn't he?
his family. He's a great
Matter of fact,
guy.
we're going to have his son as a guest on next. So,
he's all right too.
Coach Holt, we're thinking of you, and you do a lot of great things for a lot of kids on and off the court. And you know, to have Quinn leading your team at the point guard position, one of the best point guards in the state, not even debatable. Great talent, big body. You can create the space. You can finish the shot. You can get to the hole. You see the floor well. What are some of the things that you learned through your high school career that you're going to take with your game and skill set to the next level?
One of the biggest things is taking care of my body off the court.
Okay.
My dad has been huge on that my whole life.
Big Al. What's up, Big Al?
He's been huge on that and taking care of what I need to off the court, and that transfers onto the court. It's a huge thing, and then just being aggressive and confident in myself, knowing that I can play with anyone and compete and really make a difference in the game.
I think that's well said. I think you need to look at the camera and give a
Oh,
big
right.
smile. Here's the reason why I tell that story. I got to coach you for a couple summers.
Mhm.
You know, we were X Factor, and then we became Dream Vision, all under Thurl Bailey's club. And last year we were at the Adidas tournament in Indiana, and correct me if I'm wrong, where the game started, you dive for a loose ball, you come up bloody, looking like a hockey player, got your front teeth knocked out, and but to your credit, that toughness, you were ready to get back on the court and play, even though you look like an NHL player. That toughness, that heart, that competitive spirit, you know, those are the things that I saw from you and watched you grow. Actually, as a 15-year-old, was able to coach you when I was between jobs professionally, and then coached you again as a 16 and also a 17-year-old. What are your plans now? What's the next step for Quinn Peters? Where have you been visiting some schools, talking with some schools? Because if you haven't, I'm going to get on all you coaches right here, right now, and tell you that these two kids that I've got on this show, you need to be in touch with, because they're players, they're good kids, they work hard, and you both have got a different kind of skill set. What are your plans right after high school?
First, I'm gonna leave on my LDS mission.
Good for you.
Head out for 2 years.
Have you got your papers already? Have you got?
I'm just finishing up. I'll be finished this
Okay.
week, so I'm pretty excited.
Oh, this
about
is
that.
exciting time
I
for
know,
you, huh?
It's crazy.
Good for you. Good for you.
It's really good. And then I have been talking to a couple schools. The biggest decision, I don't know if I'm gonna play football or basketball.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of crazy. This is my first year playing football.
Right.
And these schools are coming to me, and I'm like, I'm a basketball player, coach.
Okay. There you
But
go.
We'll see where that goes.
Are you going to be a Bo Jackson and maybe go to a smaller school and play both sports?
I
Or are you
might.
going to think
That's-
just go Division I, Division II, and just make your choice of which one you want to go?
I haven't gotten that far, coach. But
Okay.
I don't know. I have thought about that a lot, about trying to play both sports.
Okay.
I really did love football a lot this year. And
Good for you.
I think it has helped me out a lot in the more physical aspect of the
Right.
game. Just
Right.
being tougher.
You know, I encourage that. I hear a lot of high school coaches around here, and they're so caught up on trying to have the players play one sport. I think if you're a multiple sport athlete, all that does is give you a foundation to make you physically tougher. Like you said, playing football allows you to take the contact, the physicality, where you're going into the paint, you know, creating contact, finishing your shots, you know, making decisions, going against a big 7-footer. You're not going to back down. And I love that competitive spirit about you. I've watched you grow as a man and as a player, and I'm so proud of you. We had some fun working together. I mean, we were in California, playing out in Long Beach. Gosh, we've been to Vegas multiple times. We were in Dallas. We were in Indiana. What were some of the things that maybe I came with a different philosophy or a different style? What types of things was I able to teach you in the short times, in the short, you know, month and a half that we were together in the summers? What kind of things did you take from me?
You see, you have a really different coaching style, and I loved it. I felt like my best friend was coaching me, and that really helped me in the communication part of the game, where I could talk to you about a play or a certain possession where I might have messed up or what I should have done better, and the technical part of the game, and you're really mental, and you're strong, and you're always behind us in our mistakes and our good plays and bad.
Well, I appreciate that, because I had a lot of fun coaching you, and you know, we've got a fun story that, you know, a few weeks ago, matter of fact, Zach Frampton and TJ Hobbs were both on the show, and Zach shared the story when we only took 6 people down to Vegas, and with our 6 players, we finished the game in overtime with only 3 on the court and beat that team out of Seattle to win the championship that time. What was that like, having Billy Donovan sitting right behind us? DeAndre Jordan was at the game watching. Johnny Dawkins from Stanford was there watching. And here we are with 3 players on the court, and we're winning a championship. What did that feel like to you?
No, I think you said it best when we were there. We felt like we were in a movie. It was just crazy finishing with the 3 players, especially having it go into overtime after we up by I think we're up by 20 almost.
Yeah, I think
So
at one point, and then of course we got in some foul trouble.
Mhm.
Ryan picked up some fouls early. We had to rest him in the second half. He fouled out early in the second half, and then we lost one of our guards, and then you picked up a foul. So yeah, I mean it's amazing time. But the big thing that I was hoping that I was able to teach from that was to make sure that we stayed focused. That no matter what adversity was handed to us, that we were going to accept it and say, okay, if this is the cards that we're dealt, this is how we're going to win. We stuck with the game plan. We put Sunday Sushi out there guarding that guy one-on-one. So we were in like a 1-2 and finished with Cooper and Sunday. And I think Matthew Conway was on the court when we finally won that game. But that those are things that I've been blessed to have coached around the globe. But winning that championship with U6 players that week is a special bond that we're always going to share. And I hope those are going to be memories that that you will learn from and take with you for the rest of your career,
Yeah, for sure.
Well, when are you supposed to receive your papers now? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think it takes about 2 weeks after you finally submit. So we're looking at about 3 weeks now.
I can't wait to hear where you're going to be heading, and because to me the act of service, the opportunity to grow mentally, physically, spiritually, you're going to come back so much more mature and well-rounded to tackle that next venture of your life. And I know that nothing but the best is going to happen for you. My sister actually sent me a text and she says, make sure you have Quinn smile because she can't wait to see those new teeth, because she was the one that took you to the hospital that night there in Indiana. But talk about that. We were able to, off the court, we went and spent time out on the farm. Some of you guys have never been around llamas and pigs and did some fishing and getting kicked off a four-wheeler. That was some good times too, huh?
Yeah, it was definitely a new experience for me being on that farm with your family.
So what were some things that you learned about being out in the Midwest and being around all that stinky manure? And but because I can remember Sunday was like, what's that smell? He's like, oh, that's. And he went in there. He started picking up the pigs.
No, I could see how you wanted to spend as much time as you could in the court, coach.
Yeah, that was fun.
But it was a really fun experience, and I'm grateful that I got to meet your family.
Well, I'm blessed that I've got such a great supportive family, and they came down to watch us play and invite us to come up on that Sunday afternoon to spend some time off the court and grow together as people. And it's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm super excited for you and your future. And whatever I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to call on me, because I'm not afraid to get on that phone and let these coaches know what you can bring. I can't speak too much on the football end of it, but I know what you do as a basketball player and what you are as a person. And I don't think there's anybody better who can shoot a gummy off of the 6th floor and hit a target. You know what I'm saying?
Won't forget that one either.
There you go. Well, listen, Quinn, I wish you the best, and thanks so much for being on the show. God bless you, and please give your best to my family.
Yep. Thank you, Coach.
Coach,
Appreciate it.
we're going to take a break, Bob, and we're going to have Cooper Holt on the show right here on the Coach Scott Field Show right here out of Bravehaven Studios. Cooper's going to come see us. Quinn, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, Coach.
All right.
I had an undefeated season, University of Utah in 2004. Had a great year, and just one of the greatest accomplishments to this day in my life. Yeah, once again, dream come true. You put on the Raiders jersey, and it's a team that I grew up watching all along, and I mean, just very, very proud of I was very proud of myself when it all came to be. Going back, I mentioned that trainer earlier, and he kind of changed my life. I went from a tall, skinny kid to someone who gained 30 pounds working with somebody that knew what he was talking about. And more than anything I got from the guy was confidence. And so I was training in one off season. I was watching kids train with a personal trainer at 24 Hour Fitness or somewhere. And I thought to myself that these kids aren't getting what they need. The workout wasn't what it should have been. And more than anything, the guy was just running them through a workout. He didn't know what it felt like to be in the arena. Right then I thought, I know what these kids need. I was one of those kids a couple years ago. I can train these kids better than anybody. And I decided right then to start doing what I'm doing.
excuse, but it was just. Here we are. We are back on the Coach Scott Fields Show with Cooper Holt with the torn labrum. I got to look up labrum in my medical dictionary, but sounds like it hurts to me. What'd you do, Coop? What happened, buddy?
I tore my labrum a couple years ago, and I just recently had surgery. So
How long ago was the surgery?
about a week and a half ago.
Is that right? So they got in there, cleaned it out. What happened? What was the procedure like? Because I mean, you're coming here with this big old apparatus. I didn't know if you was gonna punch me. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was a little nervous there for a second, but I know you're gonna pull it off. How are you?
Basically, what they just do is they go in and they just staple the labrum back together. I guess I was asleep for it all, so I don't really know exactly.
That's just what they told you, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Cooper Holt. You had the opportunity to play your high school ball with your dad, who is a great coach, a great person, good teacher. I was able to spend some time with him this last summer. Such a selfless man. What types of things, have you been able to learn from your dad, playing at Orem High School, having the success that you've had there in high school? And I know you're going to heal up quick and make somebody a great player, but what types of things did you learn from, should we call him Dad, or should we just call him Coach Holt right now?
Nah, I always call him Dad.
There you go.
But
Love you, Dad.
the biggest thing is he was always harder on me than everybody else. And
Yeah.
when you're little, you're kind of like, why is he so hard on me? You
Yeah.
know, I'm his kid. He should be nice to me. But then as I've grown older, I've realized it's what's best for me.
Yeah.
He's pushed me as a player.
Yeah.
He's made me a better player that way for sure.
Good. Well, you've had some great years, and I was able to coach you this last summer, and I was so impressed by the amount of confidence that you gained in that short time that we were together. I mean, you had games where consistently getting about 22 points a game against some great players, good athletes. I can remember a 27-point game that you had where, not only were you shooting some threes, but I mean, you were shooting some Jimmer range threes. I mean, you were coming across, half court, coming up on the hash, boom, letting it fly, and I'm hearing all these people in the stand, ooh, who is that white boy shooting like that? And then I was like, wait till you see him bounce, and you go in and you go dunk on somebody. So I mean, you've got an inside-out game. Very skilled offensively. How many hours a day before the surgery were you putting into your shooting and your skill set, working on that shot? Because I've been able to be around some great shooters. I mean, I've seen Kyle Korver go through his workouts here. When Coach Sloan allowed me to observe the practices, I've been around Steph Curry, who's a great shooter. You can shoot the ball, and you've got great range. How many hours a day were you shooting?
I try to shoot at least 1 to 2 hours a day. That's just shooting.
Okay.
And then I'd also do my weightlifting. And
Good.
That's probably the biggest thing
I
do.
can see you kind of buffing up a little bit. You got to get a hold of John Madsen, sponsor of our show. He going to get you right physically now. Have you ever met John?
No, I have not.
He does a great job, and he'll get you bigger.
Right.
Coop, what are your plans? What are you wanting to do now that your career has ended at Orem High School? You've had a great career. Quinn shared with us that he's getting ready to do his mission. How's the recruitment process going? Who have you been talking with? Are you leaning one direction yet, or have you made a decision, or are you still trying to go through that process?
I'm still kind of going through the process. I'm going out on an LDS mission. I have my mission call. I'm going to Birmingham, England. So.
Nice. Okay, you're gonna go there and get some fish and chips.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm gonna do that and then come back and maybe decide.
Good
I
for you.
don't really know.
Okay. Still kind of
now,
open,
so,
weighing
yeah.
out some options.
Yeah.
I've watched you play offensively. Every team at every level needs a shooter, and you're a great shooter, and so I know there's going to be those opportunities out there for you. Whether it be Division I, Division II, NAIA. I'm sure you're going to weigh out those options. Maybe it's junior college. You keep yourself in shape and then go on. But I know if basketball is your choice, you're going to be successful, and you're learning from a great teacher and a great man in your father. Matter of fact, he's been putting you guys to work out there in the summers on the golf course, huh? Have you been golfing at all?
A little bit. Not really anymore with the shoulder.
Right. How long of recovery are we looking at? What kind of rehab? I mean, will when you go to England, will you still be doing some rehab? And how's that process going to work for you? Because you're young, you're going to heal quick. If I did that, it'd take me 10 times longer. But you're pretty smooth, and you got a work ethic to you, and you got some swag. So, talk to me. How long is it going to take you to heal?
I don't know. They say you have to keep the sling on for about 3 to 6 weeks. So
Wow.
hopefully just 3 weeks. You know.
Right, right. And then gradually
Yeah.
start going a little bit.
And then I start my rehab next Monday. So
Good,
a week
good for
from
you.
Today, I think. Yeah.
Good for you. Well, my thoughts and prayers are with you on a speedy recovery. Do you know when you're leaving for England?
Yeah, I leave July 31st.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, there was a player from Riverton High School who we helped go down to Northwood University down in Florida, and he's actually over in England. So if you see Austin Anderson over there, I don't know if you remember Austin, but he's been over there eating some fish and chips, and he's kind of getting into the European style. I've seen some photos with some nice European looks. You gonna pick that up too?
Maybe.
You're going to
We'll
do a
see.
great job. I wish you nothing but the best. God bless you in your travels. I know you're going to be, providing a quality service while you're there for the next couple of years. I look forward to staying in touch with you and anything that I can do to help you. I hope you call upon because we've had some fun this last year.
Yeah,
So
we did.
I enjoyed watching the success that you guys had there with Orem High School this year. I was sitting there. I don't get nervous too often, but I was actually biting my nails that last little minute of the game. Dalton steps up to the line. They just didn't fall for him, but you guys were so close to winning that 4A championship. Do you have a hard time sleeping at night going, man, what could we have done to try to pull that one off?
Yeah, a little bit, but
It's time
you
to
know,
move on.
Yeah,
Huh?
you can't really dwell on the past. You just
But-
gotta look forward.
You had a great year. A great
Yeah.
year, a great career. Really appreciate you coming on the Coach Scott
for having
Fields
me.
Show. It's great. I mean, you guys are bookend by 2 NBA All-Stars. Terry Porter was on before you. We're going to have Sidney Moncrief coming on right after you. And what a great night here on the show.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure
I'm
being here.
thrilled to have you because I think it's important that our viewers see the type of talent that comes out of Utah because Utah doesn't get all the recognition and the national exposure that we deserve because there's great talent that comes out of here, and it's too bad that nationally a lot of people see Utah as an island and we don't get the respect and you don't get the accolades that we deserve to compete on a national level for scholarships and whatnot. But we kind of showed people these last few summers that Utah can go out there and compete with the best of them, huh, buddy?
Right.
Give me a little love on that. We're going to take a little break here. I'm glad to have Cooper Holt on the show. I know they're going to be sending some shout outs on Twitter, so be looking for those. And if you missed the show live, make sure you tune on to CoachScottFields.com to watch these guys here. And we're going to make sure they stay in touch with us, and we'll give you updates as they continue to do what they do out there in the world with their service. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back with Sidney Moncrief right here on the Coach Scott Fields Show.
From as long as I could remember, probably starting at 3 years old. I remember my dad signing me up for a baseball league that was for 5 and 6 year olds. And I remember walking out of there going, Dad, do you think I can do this? I'm young. He's like, you're going to be fine. And he coached me from 3 years old all the way till I was in high school. The coach at Snow College, my plan was to go play basketball still, but the football coaches actually gave me a better opportunity. So again, I loved all sports. It wasn't that I liked one more than the other. I just wanted an opportunity to play, and I wanted to repay my parents with a scholarship with my school for all the time and money they spent putting me through sports all those years. So for me, it wasn't about basketball, baseball, or football. It was that I wanted to repay them for all the stuff that they had given me. Yeah, no question. And I thought about that myself, can I really do this? But I had worked with a trainer for the past year going into that freshman season, and he made me believe that I could do anything. And so I had him and my parents, who have always told me that I could do anything I wanted, in the back of my mind. And so that was all I knew. I knew that I was athletic enough and talented enough. I just had to go show them what I had.
We are back live with the Coach Scott Fields Show right here out of Bravehaven Studios. Again, hey, sound off. Let us know what you think about this new set. I am really excited. I mean, we've got the executive desk, we got the Salt Lake City skyline out there, we got the hoop hanging here over my left shoulder. Gosh, it's just a beautiful set, Bob. Great job on all the hard work on this set.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'll
Thanks.
tell you.
It was a labor of love. I have a lot of fun when it comes to the graphics and try to figure out how to make things work, and putting together a virtual set is it was a challenge, but
Gosh,
it seems to be working.
It looks great. I saw the test spots. Of course, I'm not able to see it now as I'm here recording the show, but I always go back later after the show, and I'm just always so impressed of the product that you put out, Bob, here at Bravehaven Studios. And again, for you people out there needing to have any type of, digital graphics done, make sure you get a hold of Bob here at Bravehaven Studios. You can reach him at 801-738-8697 or reach out to him at bravehaven.com. Again, he'll put together those video montages. He'll throw together those event photographies, those montages. Graduation season's coming up. This is the big wedding season coming up. Let Bob come out, put some photos together, put some music to it, and make it a keepsake that you're proud to give as a gift, and something that you can just hold on to for heartfelt memories for a lifetime. Bravehaven.com. And again, I'm lucky to be working with you, buddy, and think you do a great job. I want to thank John Madsen with TeamJMP.com. You can reach John Madsen at 801-633-4719. And hey, how about MetLife? All your financial planning needs. Get a hold of Nick Fitzgerald at 801-999-3773. So want to thank our sponsors. We're about to get Sidney Moncrief on the phone. Sidney Moncrief is another friend of mine that I met at the NBA Summer Leagues. He and I was able to do a little bit of work together with the Golden State Warriors a few years back. A 5-time NBA All-Star, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year back in '83 and '84. His jersey is also retired and up at the Raptors with the Milwaukee Bucks. He called us a little earlier, Bob. They've got some bad weather down there.
Yeah.
He's working on a DVD project that we're going to let him talk a little bit about. But hopefully that inclement weather hasn't put a stop to him too much. So let's see if we can get Sidney Moncrief on the phone. And during that time, while we're trying to reach him on the phone, let's go back to the poll question. Should Donald Sterling be taking away his ownership of the LA Clippers for his racial slurs and connotations that he shared with the world that TMZ has put out for everybody to hear over the weekend? I'm hearing that there's going to be a press conference tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock that we may have an answer to that. But chime in. Let us know on Facebook. Let us know on Twitter what you think about Donald Sterling and his comments. With that.
Hey, Sidney, this is Bob Fitzgerald, Bravehaven Media. How are you?
Fine. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Are you able to talk to the coach right now?
I am.
All right. Coach, take it away.
My man, Sidney Moncrief. Sidney, how you doing, buddy?
How are you doing today?
You know what, Sidney? I'm blessed, and I feel fortunate to have you on the show. We talked a little while ago. You had some bad weather out there, huh?
Yes, I'm in Arkansas right now. It's been a really horrible weather here with that tornado that killed 17 people. And they're trying to regroup, and a number of, Red Cross people are coming in from different states to assist in the cleanup.
Wow. Our thoughts and our hearts and our prayers are with the people there in Arkansas that are going through a tough time. Sidney, let's talk about that. You're out there in Arkansas. You're working on a DVD product. Share with our viewers a little bit about what you're working on, the things that you're doing, your DVD project. Share with the viewers, what it is that you've got going on right now.
Coach, I appreciate that. Yeah, I was doing the games for the Milwaukee Bucks as a color analyst.
Yeah.
So I had that going for most of the year, and that was quite an experience. Had a lot of fun doing that. But my primary job includes team enhancement, leadership training, along with developing career readiness reentry programs for different organizations. So that's what I do, and really enjoy doing it. In essence, in summary, Scott, you could say I build people. That's what I love doing, and that's what my companies are geared to do.
Well, you know what? There's no better person to learn from, grow from, and to have you come in as a speaker, or to have your insight to share with these companies or these people or these teams. I couldn't recommend anyone any higher. You're a first-class person, quality character, and I've enjoyed my personal time around you. And I know that project's going to go well. Where can the viewers, we've got a strong local, national, and international viewership, Sidney. Where can the people find you or research about you to learn about your product and the things that you do?
Well, I would recommend people go to my website at Moncrief, the number one team.com. That's the name of the company. The company is called Moncrief One Team. And we'd like to emphasize and talk about how to build an effective team.
Okay.
And that's what we're all about. But the website has information about what we do. Coach, I also have 4 book projects.
Wow.
And the books are also online. My last book that is in the final stages is called Your Passport to Manhood.
Wow.
All the books are passport series. I have the Passport to Reinventing You, the Passport to Being a Valuable Team Player, Your Passport to Back to Basic Leadership, and my latest book is Your Passport to Manhood. So I've been having a lot of fun with a lot of different projects since I stopped coaching basketball.
Well, Sidney, I know it's going to take off. I would be thrilled to have those a part of my library. If you could send those out here to us, I'm going to hold them up here on the show, and we'll make sure that Bob, gets that website, and we promote that so we can drive traffic to your website so that they can contact you and have contact with you so that you can provide that quality service for them. I believe in you, buddy. I've been around a lot of people in this business, and we're blessed that we get to come in contact with certain people. And I was so impressed with you and your character a few years back when we were able to do a little work together when, Coach Keith Smart allowed us to be together, with the Golden State Warriors a few years back when, Anthony Morrow and that group was together. We were putting up some big numbers in the Summer League, and you were actually the head coach here at the Rocky Mountain Review, coaching those Golden State Warriors at the time.
Yeah, I love the Salt Lake area, and that was actually one of my most enjoyable summer leagues. Of course, we did Vegas, and for a while we used to do Long Beach, California. But
right.
I always look forward to coming to Salt Lake because I am a skier. You didn't know that.
Is that right, Sidney? You out on the slopes, my man?
I am a very average skier, a better skier than golfer. But I ski Park Cities. I ski Deer Valley. So
okay.
I was accustomed to coming out there skiing. And summer, as you know, is always a special time to also be there. So, got a lot of fond memories of that part of the world.
Hey, I got to be honest. You got one up on me. I've lived here for a few years, and I haven't been on the slopes once. Now, my daughter likes to get out there and snowboard a little bit, and I keep telling her I want her to get me out there because me and my feeble old bald self, I'm going to break something. Did I lose
I'm sorry,
you?
Scott, I didn't hear you. You have a bad connection.
No, that's okay. Hey, the next time you get out here to Salt Lake City, just know you got a place to stay, my friend.
Well, that's nice to know. That's nice to know because I did not get a chance. I skied once this past season.
Okay.
And that was in your neighboring state. But I always liked Utah because the altitude, as you know, is lower than Colorado.
Yeah.
And I always liked the fact that I could sleep better.
Oh, okay.
And the snow consistency was also good.
Wow, how
and
about
I've been
that?
talking. Scott, I'm mumbling because I've done 12, 16. I did 20 venues within the last hour and a half for this DVD. So
wow.
I've been talking.
Hey,
Yeah,
well, you know what? We're just thrilled and fortunate to have you on the show. So thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule to, be a part of the show. what we're doing here, Sidney, is we're trying to empower coaches, to teach coaches to be better coaches, to be more positive. And I know your training programs and the things that you talk about are going to have a lot of keynote things on just those things. And we talk about providing resources and insights. And I mean, let's go back to your career as a player, Sidney. 5-time NBA All-Star, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Your number 4 jersey's hanging in the rafters there with the Milwaukee Bucks. You've been kind of full circle. You played for the Bucks. You were the 5th overall pick back in 1979. You got to be an assistant coach there for a short time, now broadcasting there. What's it like going from being a player from the University of Arkansas, playing for Milwaukee, now coming back and still being a part of that franchise, after your career has been over?
That's been very enlightening, certainly exciting, because you want the organization to get back. Everybody always remember the glory days.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hopefully be a part of the resurgence of the Milwaukee Bucks as a powerhouse in basketball. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it was so familiar coming back, even though I had been gone for a number of years, but getting back to Milwaukee and being back in the city, engaging with the fans again, and it was just fun. It was just like it wasn't really different. The only difference is you want to see the team win more.
Yeah.
But everything else was just fun to be around, and it was exciting to be a part of that organization.
Well, John Hammond's out there who I've gotten to have a relationship with, and he's a great person. And, in time and through the process and through the draft and through free agency, he's going to have that team. And your Milwaukee Bucks, I can see turning the corner and becoming competitive here real soon.
Yeah, I would think so. And the things that you talk to the coaches about are all things that are so essential in building an organization and building the team. And John, obviously, they understand that. In some of my books, I talk about being a valuable team player, and that's one thing that I think the Bucks will get back to getting and acquiring players that understand the team concept a little better and that will buy into it. They certainly have a coaching staff that can coach it. They can coach basketball very well, and you would like to see all those pieces, as you know, when you coach, all those pieces moving in the same direction, and that takes a while occasionally. It doesn't happen very quickly.
Yeah, let's be honest. It is a process, Sidney. I mean, you've been through it as a player, and as a coach, you've been able to dabble into it. And, let's talk about you also coached in the D League for a while, and then you also, like myself, you were able to go coach internationally. What did you take from those experiences and on your journey after being a great player, coaching in the D League, where now there's a more D League teams than when you were coaching in the league? You're seeing some hybrid systems. You're seeing some individual ownership with the teams, which I think are positive. But what did you draw from your D League coaching experiences that you're able to utilize to be doing what you're doing now with selling your books and your DVDs and your projects now?
I think, Coach, you have to adapt. You have to be willing to listen to new ways of doing things, and that's what I was taught. You have to adapt to different systems. You have to adapt to your players. But most of all, you have to hold high. You have to hold tough to your standards.
There you go.
I always tell people that your standards are your standards. Policies can be changed. You can bend your policy a little bit, maybe how you do things or the tempo, but you can never bend your standards. And that's been the lesson that I have been taught through my journey of coaching in the D League, in the NBA, certainly overseas, is just adapt, but hold true to your standards.
I love it.
And that certainly has been a good recipe for a number of successful coaches.
Well, you know what? I echo that and agree, because as you know, you were coaching in China. Correct me if I'm wrong. A whole different culture, a whole different mentality. But I'm sure if you stayed true to yourself and your values and your character and what you were selling to the team of men that you were working with, it doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are, what your cultural background, ethnicity is. If you have a firm foundation of self and what you believe in and what you stand for, only positive will come from it.
Yes, and if negatives do come out of it, which occasionally we know they will, because maybe what you believe fundamentally won't necessarily match with what your boss might believe.
Yeah.
You have to certainly do what they want you to do without compromising who you are and what you in your core beliefs.
Yeah.
If you have to compromise your core beliefs, I've always felt that it's better not to have a job. It's better not to work for an organization.
There you
But
go.
those are the decisions I make, and that's why coaching for me became maybe a little more difficult, because you have to hold true to what you believe in, and that's, to me, that's very important. If you're going to be a person longer than you're going to be a player or coach, and to have the impact that you need to have, then you have to have something that you stand for, something that you believe in, something that you're willing to fight for.
Wow, you know what? It almost gives me chills to hear you say that. I think it would be great, and I'd highly recommend, even though I don't have a voice, let people like yourself go in and talk to the NBA rookie orientation, that they hold before the league gets going, to teach these rookies and mentor them and prepare them for what it's going to be like, because you're not going to play a 30-game schedule like you did in college. You're about to embark on a journey of an 82-game season, which is a marathon. And these players are so young coming out of college now, Sidney, that mentally and physically, I don't know if they're inept and are competent enough to handle that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I agree with you. I had the opportunity to work with the D-League on a couple of seminars for players in the D-League as it relates to career preparedness, trying to prepare them for their career after basketball, and that was always a lot of fun. And I like aligning myself with just people.
Yeah.
I always tell people the NBA is certainly not the end-all. There's so many other ways we can impact people, and I think I do that within my company, because we work with schools, we work with nonprofits, we work with government agencies. I'm dealing with adults, and I'm just dealing with them as it relates to being a team player. That has a lot of value. That has a ton of fulfillment on my part to be able to do a workshop for a group that has no idea what it means to be a team, that never play athletics, and to instill the team concepts for them to try to embrace to move their organization forward. That gives me as much satisfaction as working with an NBA player. And Coach, what I like about what I do is I do it for people, and I do it where it makes an impact and where people appreciate it.
Well, Sidney, I've been around you long enough that, not only do you have the character and credibility to, take on this type of venture, which I know is going to be successful, but you also have passionate, your conviction is strong, and you lead with your heart. And I think when you do that, Sidney, I don't think that there will be a ceiling effect. I think we just need to build more awareness of what you're doing, because I'll tell you what, I know if I'm ever blessed and lucky enough to be in a situation to have a company like that or a team, I know I wouldn't hesitate a second to give you a call and let you come in and present to whatever group that I'm working with, because I know you will help them understand their roles, their function, the communication, and how to take that company or whatever team to the next level, just by knowing what you stand for.
I appreciate that, Coach, and I think my background has helped prepare me. I always tell clients or potential clients, when I go in to obviously solicit their business, is my failures play a larger role in my ability to present than my successes.
Wow.
Because you have to know how teams fail. You have to know how businesses fail. You have to kind of be a part of all that before I think you can give a true picture of success in those areas. So I tell you what, I'm certainly very content and very happy with what I'm doing in life, and I just hope to continue to grow the company, which we have. I was with the school today. I went by there just to check on them. We did a workshop for them March 21st. March 21st. And the first thing they said is, they're still talking about the impact that your workshop had on the staff. You know, those are the type of things you want to hear, not to pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
But you want to hear it because you made a difference. You impacted someone's life and a company's life, and to me that's what's really important.
Man,
very important.
Hey, you know what? That's what it's all about. It's not about reading your name in a newspaper. It's not about, you know, having 20,000 fans scream your name and clap for you, but it's the impact and you know, legacy that you leave for individuals to help them grow and mature. And that's why I feel like we're lucky to have you here on this show, because that mission statement is just about like we're all about. So to me, we're lucky to have you and have you promote what you're doing. And I want to see this thing take off for you, because I know you're passionate about what you stand for, Sidney.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, we love what we stand for, and we have a new program called SOAR, which stands for Self-Awareness, obviously Organization, Achievement, and Responsibility. And this is a reentry and also a career readiness program. It's starting to get traction, where we teach the soft skills of starting your career or reentering society. We've had a couple of prison correctional facilities that have submitted to the program. So I'm always, you know, what I do, we create programs to serve needs of the people, and we have fun doing it. So I really thank you for having me on the show and be able to tell what I do and how we do it.
Well, I'm going to, before we go to break, before we, you know, go to our sponsors, I want to have you tell the viewers again what that website is. Is there a phone number also? And if you do, let us know so our producer can put that up on the graphics as we continue our interview after the break. But please tell the viewers again where they can find you, your website, and whatever contact information it is before we go to break to talk more basketball with you, Sidney.
Okay, it is www.moncrief1team.com. Moncrief1team.com, and my phone number is 214-500-0100.
You got it, guys. You heard it right there from Sidney Moncrief. Our producer's going to have that up the rest of the interview, Sidney, and we're going to make sure we drive some traffic to you. And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have you right back on talking some more basketball right here on the Coach Scott Field Show. Hey, we are back live with the Coach Scott Field Show right here out of Bravehaven Studios here in beautiful Salt Lake City. We have Sidney Moncrief, a friend of mine who's on the show with us live right now. Sidney's talking about his workshops, his books, talking about his DVD products. He's actually videotaping part of those segments tonight. As those tornadoes have gone through Arkansas, and our thoughts and prayers are with the people there in Arkansas as, they're trying to collect and put themselves back together. So hopefully everybody's being safe out there. Sidney, you're back on the show live, my man. Our producer, Bob, here at Bravehaven Studios is putting up your website. He's also putting up your phone number. We're going to keep that on as we continue this interview to, again, build exposure for you, drive traffic to you, and build awareness to all the quality things that you're doing to impact and empower people's lives right now.
He hung up.
Are you there, Sidney?
He hung up.
all week. You know what? I'm wondering if maybe that bad weather may have had something to do with it. Maybe the cell service is not good out there. Let's see if we can't get him back on the phone. And while we try to get Sidney back on the phone, let's go back to our poll question of the night. You know, we've talked about some of the negativity, the bad that's coming out of the league right now. Donald Sterling, the owner of the LA Clippers, was caught with some negative racial slurs and connotations that were being broadcasted. And we're asking you guys on the Coach Scott Field Show, do you think that Donald Sterling, with those values and with those racial beliefs, do you believe he should be the owner of an NBA franchise? Here he is right now. The Clippers are playing in the NBA playoffs in the first round against a good Golden State team, and all this now has caused so much of a distraction. I don't even know if the players can even concentrate, even though Doc Rivers is doing a fantastic job of accountability, owning his role and responsibilities of keeping the players focused. But that's a lot to go on. You know, I don't care. It's hard for these guys to focus and concentrate when all this stuff's going on about, you know, what they believe, what they should be doing, what stands they should be making. You know, I've seen them come onto the court last night. They all took off their warm-ups, threw them down at midcourt, took their warm-ups on and didn't have the Clipper logo showing. The Miami Heat followed suit with that tonight, you know, in protest of what Donald Sterling is doing. Tell us right here on the Coach Scott Field Show, do you believe that Donald Sterling should be an NBA owner? We had Sidney Moncrief on the phone, and I think we may have lost him with some bad weather that we got going on out there. There's some tornadoes going on, and you know, we hope that he's going to be safe, but really appreciate him taking the time to come on to the show and talk about his product. He's got some books that he says he's got going on. He's got 4 books, he said, Bob. He's got a website, and you know, we want to make sure that, you know, we can promote him. Just a great guy. Sidney and I was able to, you know, do some work together with the Golden State Warriors. Keith Smart was actually, you know, running and conducting that stuff. Keith was the head coach down in Las Vegas. Sidney was the head coach up here at the Rocky Mountain Review, coaching that Warriors team. Anthony Morrow and Anthony Randolph were putting up huge numbers back when they were first drafted. Anthony Morrow, I've enjoyed watching work and grow and seeing the things that he's doing now with the New Orleans Pelicans. Super proud of him. Some of the comments in regards to, you know, what's going on with Donald Sterling. You guys have sounded off. All weekend I had some great comments come in, either via Twitter or you know, on Facebook, and you know, I want to share with some of those. Ali Retta, who is a friend of mine who works down at the MGM Grand down in Las Vegas. I was blessed to coach his brother over in Lebanon. We won a championship together. I know he had sounded off. Some other, you know, Hiram Mortensen, my brother-in-law, right here out of Salt Lake City, he had a few comments about it. A lot of people, it has hit a nerve, and just the fact that he could say something like that, there's a lot of people very upset, and there's a lot of things going on. Sponsors have pulled out from, you know, supporting him and backing him with his Clippers since he's a part of it. He was supposed to be awarded, believe it or not, Bob, they were going to give him an NAACP award, and of course now they have rescinded that. I don't think he deserves that award. I mean, how can you sit there and say the things and actually comment on those types of things and receive that type of award? Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he received another award similar to that in 2009. And just so you know, I've got our phone lines open up right now. We weren't able to reconnect with Sidney.
Okay.
So I've got the call in. If you've got an opinion about that, we'd love to talk to you here on the air.
You bet.
And get your opinion. The number for that is 801-738-8697. That's 801-738-8697. We'd love to talk to you here on the Coach Scott Field Show and get your opinion.
Yeah, you know, I highly encourage it. I don't matter what walk of life you're in, what career path you're in. I don't even care if you're a student. You know, this is a human story. Call us with your thoughts. Again, Bob just shared that number with you here to Bravehaven Studios, 801-738-8697. 8697. Please give us a call and share with us your opinions on what you think about Donald Sterling being an owner of the LA Clippers to have that type of mindset. Would love to hear from you. Hopefully, you know, there's some people out there that are listening that will call in and share your insights and input. It would be great to hear from you. I'm going to see if I can't pull up some of those comments that had come in. Some of them were pretty good. Matter of fact, an acquaintance of mine out of Indiana, he's actually an attorney out there. Michael Ellis chimes in and he says yes. And any other racist, bigoted administrator, owner, coach, or player, there's no room for racism in professional sports or any other arena for that matter. As someone once said, let's not judge by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Agreeing with that statement, let's judge Mr. Sterling by the content of his character and throw him out after having done so. Michael Ellis from Terre Haute. Matter of fact, I think he's a district attorney for Vigo County out there in Terre Haute. Thank you for chiming in and sharing with us your opinions. It's great to hear from an attorney who understands and watches the show. Obviously, you know, took a part of our poll question, so I wanted to share that with you. Roy Henderson, a former player of mine who lives out on the East Coast. I actually coached him at Chowan Junior College years ago. Roy watches the show, and matter of fact, he was just doing a physical fitness camp out in the Dominican Republic, and hopefully he's back safe in the United States. Roy Henderson, thank you for sharing with us your opinion. You said, I forgive him for his ignorance. However, there are always consequences for your actions. He put hashtag evil never wins. Roy Henderson, thank you so much for chiming in on what you feel about Donald Sterling, the NBA owner. Ali Reda, who I shared with you before, who I was able to coach his brother and win a championship out in Lebanon. He's a manager at the MGM Grand down in Las Vegas. Ali says, Scott Fields, this guy is a disgrace to the support and a hypocrite. He thinks if he got money, he is better than people and gave the people classes. What an idiot. I say fine him and take severe actions legally. All of us, whether white, black, Muslim, Hispanic, etc., have qualities. This guy has no right to speak like that. He belongs in the garbage with his stupid comments. Ali from the MGM Grand out of Las Vegas, thank you so much for chiming in. You and I have had a long relationship ever since I coached your brother out there in Lebanon, and I know Ghalib's going back now, continuing his career there in Lebanon, and we wish him the best of luck. Tracy Graven, who is actually a journalist who covers a lot of NBA, actually just relocated out to the Cincinnati area. So Tracy, I want to thank you for your input. You said, let him field a team of white guys and white-only fan base and let him suffer financially. That seems to be the only way to hurt rich people. Wow, Tracy, thank you for your input and sharing with us on what you think about the hot topic and poll question of tonight on the Coach Scott Fields Show. Apologize to our viewers for the technical problems. Sidney Moncrief was sharing some great stuff with us as we continue the show. Bob, I think his website was put up and also his phone number so we can contact him. I want to thank him for his time. He called about a half hour before the show started and was awfully concerned that we would have trouble connecting tonight because of the tornadoes that had gone through Arkansas out there. And so I hope that he's safe. I apologize for the interruption there with that interview. We really enjoyed having him on and sharing the things that he's doing to also empower people. And obviously not just people, but teams and organizations and companies, helping them grow as a team. He's a great person, and I've enjoyed my relationship with him. Also want to thank Terry Porter tonight for coming on to the show and sharing a great, gosh, he must have been on for about an hour, Bob, sharing some great stories with us right here on the Coach Scott Fields Show. I want to thank him for taking the time to share with us. Talking about a guy with a 17-year career in the league, Bob, whose jersey number 30 is hanging in the rafters there at Portland. He was a J. Walter Kennedy citizenship winner. He was the 25th overall pick back in 1985 and a two-time NBA All-Star. So again, this was the NBA All-Star edition show of the Coach Scott Field Show. Even with Terry, we had a little bit of problems with the connection there with the cell phone, so I apologize to the viewers for that. I'm sure it was a connectivity type of thing, but just to have him on and share his insights was truly outstanding. I guess we're scared people off. They don't want to call us tonight, Bob.
Nobody's wanting to. Nobody's
Get
wanting to
anybody
chime
to
in
call us.
and call in, but I've been putting some tweets out there, and hopefully we'd get somebody to give us a call. So if you are listening and viewing, give us a call, 801-738-8697. Before we sign off the air tonight, we'd love to get your opinion.
Oh, I would love to hear from you, just to get your opinion on it. Bob and I shared a few insights here as we kick the show off. Again tonight, we send our condolences to the Ramsey family. Again, the NBA community and society lost a great ambassador in Coach Dr. Jack Ramsey, an NBA lifer who gave a lot of time to the game in many capacities, as a coach, as a broadcaster, as a scout. I mean, he did it all, and the lives that he was able to touch. Again, we send our heartfelt condolences, and this show tonight is in kind of memory of him. So to the Ramsey family, our hearts and prayers and deepest sincere condolences go out to you. And it's been a great show, Bob, to have Terry, to have Cooper Holt and Quinn Peters come on from Orem High School, who have gone on and are going to go out and serve a mission, and have taken that choice and stand strong for their beliefs. And I think it's great that these young kids, Bob, take the step to go out and provide service and help others, before they go on and continue their, education and their careers, whatever they may do. And it's great to see these young kids do that.
Yeah, it is. It's I served an LDS mission many years ago.
Okay.
And it is an education in itself. You get to learn about the human condition, and you get that opportunity to serve that you wouldn't get if you stayed home and
Right.
were in classes. And it's a great service that they do provide.
I've been fortunate since I've lived here. I've been able to talk with individuals who have gone away on their mission. I mean, I've heard guys that have gone down to Guatemala and Chile, and we've got one of my former players that we did some AAU stuff, who's actually down in Africa. Mr. Losey's down there, Elder Losey, and his mom comes back just teary-eyed, so proud of him and the things that he's doing in such a third world country where, the lifestyle, but they're building schools and they're helping these kids, and it's heartwarming and brings tears to your eyes to hear the things that they're doing to provide the services for the individuals and the people that they're serving. And that all that's going to do is enrich their lives personally as they come back, because they truly grow, as people of service. And it's great to hear stories like that. And thanks for sharing. Where did you go on your mission?
I actually went to Southern California.
Nice.
And so I was a beach boy back in the late '70s. So,
okay.
It was great being able to serve, and it's just an awesome experience for those young men.
You bet. And how about your son Nick? Where did he go on his?
Nick actually served in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Wow. Okay. Nice. And so he was gone for a couple years.
Yep.
What types of things, as a parent, what did you see from him as far as growth when he came back from that mission? As a young, a boy going to a man. What kind of differences did you see in him?
It was interesting to see that growth, because you send out a 18, 19-year-old kid into the world, and they go to a place that they've never been. Their mom and dad aren't close by. They're not accessible, and they learn to rely upon themselves, and they learn to rely upon the Lord. And I think that's probably the thing that's the most benefit, is they learn and they develop that personal relationship with their Lord. So
isn't that awesome?
It is. It's great. They come back and grow so much. I mean, he was 6'9", but he grew in a different way.
That's right. The spiritual aspect. It's it's interesting to hear of the journeys and some of the things that they do as they're away, and like you say, you've seen it as yourself when you went away on your mission. You've seen it as your son, and a lot of times for these families, that's the first time that these kids have ever gone away and haven't been home, and they're thrust into a world where they don't have all the comforts and amenities that we have here. And I think they also grow with an appreciation for the things that they have, and they find out that not everybody is as lucky and as fortunate and as blessed as what we are with the things that we have. And for them to go out and teach life skills to others who are much less fortunate, all they can do is come back with growth from that. And it's great the faith and the spirituality that these individuals. I didn't grow up here in the Mormon culture, but it's great to see those kids that come back and have that. And so with me being in the athletic world, you see these kids that come back and fulfill their missions, whether it's at the University of Utah, BYU, UVU, Southern Utah University. You can't help but think that 2 years of growth has truly helped transform those individuals to make them more well-rounded people on and off the court.
Right. And that's interesting. Like my son played for Southern Utah.
Yeah.
His freshman year before he went on a mission. So he put a year of school in prior to going, and just to see the growth when he came back and how he's able to handle things, and yes, it's just amazing.
What a blessing.
Yep.
What a blessing. Well, we just wanted to share that with you guys here for a little bit, since unfortunately we were unable to reconnect with Sidney Moncrief, a friend of mine who is now a broadcaster. But in the off season, he's putting time. Again, what was the name of that website that he shared with us? Do you have that, Bob? I'm sorry.
I sure do, and I'll put his graphic back up while we're talking about that. One sec here.
Yeah, Bob, what a great show though. This set is amazing. I can't wait to get off the stool here and come and look at this set. But I just can't believe how professional and eloquent it looks, and I'm blessed to be sitting here on this set, sharing these things with our viewers.
Yeah, and well, you do a great job.
Well, thank you, buddy.
Like I've got Sidney's graphic back up there,
Okay.
and the website is www.moncrief, MONCRIEF, 1team.com.
Okay, I highly encourage everybody, go to that website, get a hold of those books, get a hold of those DVDs. Again, we are trying to be a vehicle that supplies you with resources for growth and development and empowerment. And what a great person to learn from. I'm going to reach out to Sidney and see if we can't get a few copies of that book to, hold up and promote, and hope that you guys, maybe I can do a little reading in them and share with our viewers. Because again, it truly is about empowering and empowerment and growth as individuals, no matter what walk of life that we're in. And highly encourage everybody to give him a phone call. I know he shared a phone number, but again, hit that website of Sidney's and support him and help people build the awareness to what he's doing. And with that said, the same with the Coach Scott Fields Show. Please take the time to, if you like our show, you enjoy our content, you're enjoying the resources, you're enjoying hearing from the individuals that you're hearing from and learning from, please tell your friends. Word of mouth will really help us with growth. On Facebook, there's that little link there on the right-hand side that you can like it, you can make a comment, or you can share it. Please share the content and our links so that we can continue to grow and build this show. And with that said, Bob, we still have sales position and team lead positions, for the marketing and sales, to promote our show and what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody's interested, they can contact us via email at bravehaven@mac.com, or they can call and leave a message if we're not here in the studio at 801-738-8697, and we'll get back to you. Or you can contact myself, you can contact the coach on Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, and we'll set up a time where we can sit down and discuss exactly what the program is and everything else. And Scott, I want to make sure everybody knows how they can contact you at
Okay.
Scott_Fields is your Twitter handle there.
Yeah.
And Scott Fields on Facebook. You can contact us at Bravehaven on Facebook.
You bet.
And the CoachScottFields.com is our website. So we're just
You
grateful
bet.
to have that.
Well, you know what? We feel like we've got a great product and a great brand, and we would love to have energetic, enthusiastic people who believes in our mission and the way that we're empowering individuals to be a part of this sales team, to go out and contact sponsors, whether it be for ad space on our show, as you've seen some ads tonight that Bob does a fantastic job of throwing up there for you. I try to give some shout outs, but we'll have a package that you can actually go out and sell. And what a great way to supplement your income for some, high school, college kids, or even professionals that are just looking to be a part of an exciting team and a great product and brand that we're bringing to go out to contact, some local people here. We're going to have a local sales team. We're going to have a national sales team, and we're going to have an international sales team because we've got a global following right here on the Coach Scott Fields Show. So again, CoachScottFields.com or Bravehaven at Mac.com is where you can reach him. So please reach out to us. Let us know if you're interested in being a part of our team, and we would love to have you and talk with you. We do have a few people who have reached out to me in this last week that have some interest, so I will be following out with you. We had a professional golfer. We had another professional sports entertainment guy who had reached out to me that said he had an interest, and a few other people that have been in the sports arena in different capacities who have reached out to me. I will be following up with them, and this sales team is going to grow. We hope that you continue to enjoy what you're seeing as we're bringing it to you here, and I can't thank you enough for the text, the private messages, the comments that you shared with me. They mean a lot. And don't forget, we have our guest book on the CoachScottFields.com website. Please go into the guest book and share with us, your thoughts and your opinions, the set that you see, or maybe there's an individual you feel would be great to have on the show, or you would like to learn from. Hey, give us that contact information, or share with us who you would like to hear from. It can be in any arena. We're using basketball a lot right now because the NBA playoffs are going on, as Terry Porter shared with you. But if there's a coach or someone that you've learned from, or someone in another walk of life that you think would come on and share quality content with individuals, let us know here at the Coach Scott Fields Show, and we will be more than happy to follow up and do our due diligence and have that individual share their insights and travels with you so that we all grow as people. So I want to thank you tonight for watching us. Thank you to our new viewers who have come in to see our show, and we will bring a great guest lineup for you again next week right here on the Coach Scott Fields Show. Thank you so much, and again, Bob, what a great job you've done here at Bravehaven Studios to put this set together to give aesthetically pleasing product for our viewers. And
Well,
that's a big word for me to say right there.
Hopefully it's aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, it's great. I just can't. I couldn't be more thrilled, and we'll make sure we take some shots of this and put it on the social media site so you guys can see, how beautiful this is to be a part of this here at the studio. But Bravehaven.com is where you can get all your producing needs met, and please reach out to Bob to let him put together a commercial or anything for you, for your businesses, to help you grow. And again, Bob, I can't thank you enough for allowing me this opportunity to use this vehicle to educate and empower individuals.
All right, not a problem.
Everybody, God bless you. Thank you for your time tonight. I know you've got busy schedules, but just the fact that you took the time to sign in and watch us means a lot to us, and we enjoy bringing it to you. God bless you. We'll see you again next week right here on the Coach Scott Fields Show.